and sweet and kind, and I'm really grateful. For those of you who don't know, my name is Schemmel. I voiced Goku on Dragon Ball Z and King Kai and Nail. I also have done dozens of voices over the last 17 years for various anime and television shows, Pokemon, Ninja Turtles, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I'm currently in Fallout 4. I play Strong, so if you guys use Strong as a companion, that's me. I play Strong. I play. I do video game work. I'm just letting you know, just in case. 'Cause a lot of times I'll be on a panel. I'm like, I do this, and like half the audience is, really, you do, really, you do. And actually, that always flatters me because I believe my job as a voice actor is to not. I don't want you to know it's me. I mean, Goku, I can't help it, and when I'm using my natural speaking voice, I can't help it. But if I fool you and you don't realize it's me, then I'm doing my job right, because then you're invested in the character and you're more deeply involved in the show. And I gotta take, there's so many, I'm a little bit of an Anglophile, just so you know. I really enjoy English and culture and Celtic history, and in particular, I've been watching a lot of English television. I grew up watching a lot of English television, and I'm particularly appreciative of how British television shows are cast and how the writing is, because in America, I get very irritated when, and Americans love this, but I don't. Like, I was watching some Quantico show or something, like the Quantico FBI agent looks like a Playboy bunny, and I'm like, oh my, okay, there's no hot Playboy Quantico, FBI agents. But when you watch a British show, they cast it and it's appropriate. It looks like that person would be that part. So when it's supposed to be an attractive person, it's an attractive person. When it's supposed to be someone who's just lovely on the inside, for example, they cast it appropriately. So that makes the show more believable for me. And then the acting is so good. I'm just like, why don't we cast this way? And when they cast, I noticed that when they cast siblings, they are children. They look like the parents. And on American shows, I'd be like, there's no way that baby came out of those two people. It's the Cosby Show, and I'm like, I think I can get tanner than the oldest Cosby kid. I remember thinking that, like, that is not the progeny of Bill Cosby and Felicia Rashad. I did not believe it. And so for me, it's difficult to suspend my disbelief for a lot of shows, particularly American shows, where they're just trying to play, what's sexy or they're not trying to play, like Breaking Bad's a great example of good, that's similar to English television in the fact that it's cast with appropriate people. They're not trying to sell you on sex or sell you on attractiveness. They're just trying to make it great. So I watch a Peep Show, and I watch that Mitchell and Webb look. I love the Angels Summon. Angels, come forth! Well, I'll just hit him with my BMX bike. I'm doing my bad British accent. And hit my BMX bike, and then I'll hit him with the wheelie. And he goes, well, I can summon a horde of angels. And I don't know if you've ever seen it. That Mitchell and Webb look, the Angel Summoner sketch. And then I watch Outnumbered and Misfits. And Broadchurch might be the finest bit of acting and writing I've seen in 20 years. It is really, really spectacular. So I'm a huge fan of English culture in general. I'm a huge Dennis Brain fan for all you French horn nerds out there. Greatest French horn player that ever lived. British, died in 1957, and I drive a Jaguar. So if that tells you anything, I'm totally pretentious when it comes to that sort of thing. But anyway, so that's a little background about me. I just want to open the floor for questions because I have a limited amount of time, and it's my first time to Bristol, and I went and saw the bridge. And then I
heard you were a proper tourist. I wondered if you actually had the sandals and the socks to go with it.
The sandals and the socks?
Yeah.
Is that what you have to have?
Yeah. If you're going to be a tourist in this country, sandals and socks.
Really? That's what they do? They wear sandals? Why would people come to England, a notoriously wet and cold country, and wear sandals and socks?
Because that's what we do.
I thought you have to wear your wellies. You call them your wellies?
Wellies.
Wellies.
With an E. Well, with an I. Wellies.
Wellies. I'm not going to get this right. So let's just open the floor for questions, and you will be pointing at anybody, or are you too polite to ask me questions? Here we go. There we go. Yeah.
Hello.
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 Yeah.
Hiya. Can I ask what's your favorite Super Saiyan transformation?
I tend to like natural Goku the most when he's not Super Saiyan. I just like the character design. I love it when he's just in his element. And as of late, of course, it's been the God mode stuff. I never liked Super Saiyan 3 that much because he changed so much. He didn't look enough like Goku to me, and I had to change my voice for each level of Super Saiyan for specific reasons. So yeah, I was gonna say probably the God mode stuff is pretty cool. I really like that. Yes. Next question.
Sorry, just talk.
Is it on?
Just talk.
Is it working?
It should be. Just talk.
What do you think of, your type of Goku compared to Team Four Stars Goku? Were you happy?
Well, I don't compare. I don't. Are you asking me how I compare it to their Goku or whatever? He, has publicly said that he's copying Ian Corlett or Peter Kalamas, so he's more of a fan of those guys, I think. So he's not really, approaching on my thing. The Team 4-Star thing is a little tricky for me because I think they're very funny guys, and I think they do a really great job. I'm so close to the character, I don't mind that they're making fun of it at all. I do my own parodies, and I love parody, and I love that. But I think for me, it's like, it's so popular, and a lot of times my travels become more about that than what I'm doing, and so I'm like, okay, well, you could ask them on their panel, which I'm not offended at all, but it becomes one of these weird things like, that's almost like asking William Shatner or somebody, what do you think of Captain Picard all the time or something, I don't know. So for me, it's like, yes, it's funny, I don't know how legal it is, I don't, and I'm too close to the character. Chris Sabat loves it. I'm to the point where Team 4-Star is so popular, I'm like, why should we bother to dub Super? You guys just let Team 4-Star do it, and we can just take a vacation. So I hope that doesn't offend you. But yeah, it's very funny stuff. Who's doing next? Yes. Oh, she's picking. Sorry, I don't get to pick. Yes.
She's picking.
Super Saiyan. She's picking.
Sorry.
Yeah. So my question to you is, of the series and the films, so for the characters you already play, who would you pick as a new character to your list?
I was trying to. I have hearing loss in this year, and I'm translating an accent. So could we give him a mic so I
He's
can?
dead, hang on.
Say it again. The question.
Of the series and the films, except for the characters you already played, who would you choose to play new
So
characters?
between the series and the films, of all the characters you've played, who would you overall choose to be?
Well, I mean, playing Goku is not the funnest character to play. Largely, is that correct?
Who else? Who
Not
else?
including the ones you already acted
Not
as.
including.
Right. Yeah, no, I was just prefacing it. But no, I got the question. So, Goku's not the funnest character to play. It's fun because of what you guys think of, and it's fun to meet people because of it. Because as an actor, typically you want a character that has a growth and a large story arc and changes over time. Goku stays fundamental. He has basically three emotions. He stays fundamental. He's like happy, angry, and hungry, are pretty much his three emotions, and he pretty much stays the same. He's kind of in this constant state of the Zen beginner's mind. That being said, I got to do a Vegeta impression for the end of Battle of Gods, where I got to go, my Bulma, my Bulma. That was really fun. I asked Chris if I could do that. I would have loved to have played Beerus or Whis in the new movies. I would have loved to play Jocko. I would have loved to have played Vegeta. I'm pretty much, I like playing King Kai more than I like playing Goku. And it's not that not playing Goku's fun. It's fun to be the hero in the show, but when it's just like, I'm gonna beat you and screaming for hours, you're like, I hope these kids love this shit because I am busting my ass. I'm sweating and it's great. I never want to sound ungrateful, but I've also come to believe that you can have two emotions that are, mutually exclusive, that aren't mutually exclusive. In other words, playing Goku is a giant pain in my ass, and I love it more than anything. You know what I mean? It's like, because it was my first audition, so my work as Goku, I've done hundreds of voices for dozens of shows over the last 17 years, but Goku's like your first kiss or your, not that I would make out with Goku, but it's like your first kiss or your first sweetheart or whatever. It's in a special place that's separate from everything else I do. So I hope that helps answer your question. Yes, next question.
Okay, over here. And I actually got it working.
Here we go.
Right. Out of everything, all Z, Ball, even GT, whatever, what's your favourite thing about just all of Dragon Ball Z?
Well, my favorite thing about it, outside of the crazy fandom that we have, which is unbelievably awesome, my favorite thing is the Goku Vegeta storyline. I think that's my favorite saga, which I think Dragon Ball Z, they should call it Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Goku and Vegeta, or Goku and Vegeta are friends or something, I don't know. But the story arc of Goku and Vegeta's development, their relationship is probably my favorite arc. And my favorite bit of work I've done is Battle of Gods Resurrection F, hands down the best bit. To me, that's the best bit of Dragon Ball Z out there, as far as I'm concerned. There are some scenes in Dragon Ball Z that might be better, and there's some, but for me, once we did Battle of Gods Resurrection F, I'm like, this is awesome. I was really in love with doing those movies. We recorded Resurrection F, and I recorded my parts for Resurrection F in 2 days. Like, we were hauling ass on that movie, but we also had to get it perfect, We had to. And in Battle of Gods, there was one little line I got wrong. an inflection I totally did wrong in a conversation with Goku and King Kai, and luckily I caught it as we were spot checking, and I said, can I change that real quick? And it would have totally changed that scene, and so I'm 100% happy with my work in Battle of Gods, and I'm 98% happy with my work in Resurrection F. What's the next question? Yeah.
Out of all the sagas, which is your best battle scene?
Oh, the best battle scene is Goku and Vegeta's fight Majin when they're about to have it out, and then Vegeta cold cocks Goku in the head, knocks him out. But up until that point, that whole thing is really awesome. All right, we got 15 minutes. We're gonna try to do this.
Checking, calm down, we're all good.
Out of all the sagas, what's your favourite saga?
I think I just got asked that, didn't I? Didn't you just?
The battle.
Oh, battle. Oh, my favorite saga. Like I was saying before, I used to think it was the Buu saga or the Dr. Gero, but now I've just decided my favorite saga is the Goku Vegeta arc. To me, that's its own saga, and that's the most interesting story to me. I just figured that out like last year. After I'm like, I think that's my favorite. After answering that question, wrong for so many years. Yes. Next.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Did you watch WrestleMania?
I saw those guys. What's that?
Yeah, the New Day that came out, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I don't watch WrestleMania, so who are those guys?
World Tag Team Champions at the moment, the New Day.
Well, I wanted to tweet them. I said, look, if you ever want me to announce you coming out as Goku, I would Kamehameha you guys on stage. I would totally love to do
I
that.
think the guy's Xavier Woods.
Is that his name?
Yeah, he's got a channel called Up Down.
Xavier Woods. I will tweet him at some point and say, dude, next time you bust out in Saiyan armor, right when you're coming through whatever paper or whatever you bust through, I'll just go, Kamehameha, and they'll bust out. And I'm like, yeah, I would totally do that at WrestleMania.
And there was one other thing really quickly. I used to watch Dragon Ball Z as a kid with my brothers. And
Right.
Back then, just kick ass, and just fight. But as a dad now, when I watched it back and I watched the whole scene when Goku's growing up, and especially that whole transition where he actually sacrifices Gohan to fight Cell, I thought that was quite powerful. And it's in a weird way, I got quite emotional watching it back the second time.
Sure.
Even that last bit where he says bye to everybody is a really just separation from being away from your kid, because I find it when I go to work I don't get to spend time with my kids.
Sure. Yeah, those are my favorite moments in Z, actually. And I don't have any children, so maybe that's why. But I'm sorry, continue. Is that all you want to say?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because we recorded, I don't know if it's aired yet, but one of the things I look for when I'm recording Goku is because he's such a dipshit, and he's so clueless, and is such a bad father when it comes to blowing off Chi-Chi and run. Oh, see ya! I'm gonna go train Boo. Bye. He's just and Chi-Chi's like, you just got here, and I got these two kids to raise. There was a scene we did with Goku and Gohan, and we recorded for the Boo for Dragon Ball Z Kai, and we just recorded this I don't know, maybe 10 months ago. I don't know, maybe it was less. And it's a scene where Goku's finally trying to come clean with Gohan and basically say, I'm sorry I was a shitty dad and wasn't there for you. And I only had so many flaps and so much time. I was trying really hard to just get a little bit of Goku choking up as he's about to send Gohan off to potentially his death to fight Buu. And it's that scene where he's like, I know I've been there, but you gotta go do this and you're gonna be okay. And we got a little choked up in the booth trying to make it as real as possible because there's these nuggets of acting that Goku he doesn't. I feel like Goku's either, it's really strange because I feel like he's either completely oblivious and clueless, or he's playing the long game and playing poker so well that he's keeping everything so close to his chest that really he is a very intelligent, deep guy, but he's just processing it all in the background so much that, because every once in a while he'll bust out some knowledge and whoa, Goku's actually thinking about how this is gonna, when he was keeping Gohan hidden from Cell, this whole long game he's playing to have Gohan defeat Cell is very clever. And so it made me have a different view of Goku in terms of him being just totally hi and just out of sorts. His lack of depth it seemed to disappear in those moments because he's not a very terribly deep character, but because a Japanese guy told me once, I don't know if this is true or not, but Goku loosely translated. I look for Zen Buddhist parables in Z all the time. They use chi for energy. And that's Taoist and Chinese metaphors and stuff. And so Goku loosely translated means master of knowing nothing. So to me, as a guy, I studied Zen. I converted to Buddhism in '97 before I was on Dragon Ball Z, and I'm a terrible Buddhist. I'm like a horrible, angry Buddhist. But I know the literature really well. I studied the literature really well. And there's even a thing in Zen, Soto Zen circles, and you see it on Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where the transmission of enlightenment is transmitted from master to student. And if you watch in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, he's about to give her, and he puts his fingers like this to her forehead. And I'm like, he's doing the instant transmission on it, and it's the transmission of enlightenment. So I think Goku, to me, that's a metaphor for giving oneself enlightenment, and he uses it to transmit himself, instant transmission, to other planets when he does that. And that comes from Soto Zen Buddhism. So I noticed that. And I'm always looking for those things, because to me, Dragon Ball is very, very deep in that Eastern philosophy type of way, which I happen to be a big fan of. Yes?
Hi, have you heard any news yet on if there's a new Xenoverse 2 yet?
I do think that there's going to be, I can't confirm it yet, but Chris called me and said there's going to be a game coming, and I'm thinking we're going to do some DLC, or maybe another Xenoverse game. I wouldn't be surprised. Xenoverse was so successful, the publishing company would be stupid not to make another one just for the sake of the money. I think that's coming, and I think Dragon Ball Super should happen this year. We don't have a contract yet, but Chris called me the other day and he was like, I think that might be happening soon. So Funimation's has been working hard since early last year, or late last year, to go to Japan, and because every time, just because we have Z doesn't mean the Japanese are going to go, okay, you can have Super. It's the whole process of lawyers meeting and talking about money and shows and who's going to air it and what money you get from it, and they got to work all that out before they call me or any other cast member and say, here's a contract. But my guess is, and this is totally speculative, my guess is I'm hoping that we'll have something out in July, and at the very worst case scenario, August or September for school. So they'll try to get that definitely out before Christmas, I'm hoping. So hopefully we'll have something, because I can't wait. I need a job.
Other than Dragon Ball, the whole series you've been in, what is your favorite anime?
My favorite anime, other than Dragon Ball, I mean, I was an anime ADR director for a while, and after working on a lot of different shows, I got tired of watching anime because I love it, but I'm like, I've been working on anime 40 hours this week. I think I'm gonna go home and watch not some anime. My girlfriend got me into, she got me into Death Note, and she got me into, and I haven't watched a lot of Naruto. I like One Piece. I like Ghost in the Shell. I like all your classic Akira. I was in, there's a show I really like that I was in called Giant Robo. I played Tetsugu in that. That was a really great one. And the anime style is still my favorite form of animation, though. Yes, what are we doing? Yes.
Hi. Do you know if there was any plans to do Dragon Ball Z Kai the Buu saga?
I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this. I was busy promoting Resurrection F last year, and everybody recorded on the Buu saga but me. And I just wrapped up recording the Buu saga probably 6 weeks ago. So I'm done. So it's done. It's gonna get released because everyone else is recorded. They gotta mix it and then print it and whatever. But you will get the Buu saga at some point. And I finished it up, so I know I did. So it's gonna happen. All right, we're running. We're got about 7 minutes on these short panels, as you can see why. Yes.
I'm a big fan of Whis and Beerus.
Those are great characters.
How did you voice them? Because the question earlier on was really intriguing.
It's so funny because when you ask me that, to me, voice acting such a, now that I've heard Jason Douglas and Ian do it, they did such a great job. Once someone's voiced it and owned it, it's very hard for me to do my own take on it. And also, when I create a voice, sometimes I can do it instantly, but a lot of times, I'm looking at the facial structure, asking questions about the history. In some cases, if they want me to reference the Japanese, I will listen to the Japanese just to get the feel for it. And so I think I would have voiced Beerus in a very similar way to Jason Douglas, although he's better at it than me. And Whis, I would have done something similar to Ian Sinclair, but I would have used some different intonation to make him sound a little more like he's from another planet, although I love what Ian did, so I probably should rethink that thinking, because Ian is he's so flexible and so talented. It's hard to say, I do it this way, it's better, because he just, if he sucked at it, it would be like easier for me to go, oh yeah, but they were just, I was so thrilled they got Jason in there. I'd never met him before, and I'm like, this guy's a good actor, man. It just makes me look good, makes me look better.
If you didn't voice any of the Dragon Ball Z people, what did you think of the movie Resurrection F? Because I loved the movie, but I was kind of disappointed. Mostly with Goku, because he stole Vegeta's kill.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I think it's weird, because when we were on tour, I swear, I like Resurrection F is a better movie, but I like Battle of Gods better, only because Battle of Gods, the first half of it is very Dragon Ball-y, and the second half of it's very Dragon Ball Z-y. So you got the comedy and the old Dragon Ball characters, and then you've got a good battle at the end. And what people don't realize, they say, well, how do you, they asked me on tour, they're like, how do you feel about Goku not beating the enemy in the end? You know, and then me trying to find depth in Goku, I'm like, but the battle wasn't between Goku and Beerus. The battle, to me, as interpreting it as an actor, the battle was between Goku and his ego and his own desire, because he was pissed off that he couldn't do it on his own. So it's all about his frustration and anger, and Beerus secretly training him into God mode. That was the battle. It didn't, the Beerus, him fighting Beerus, that was a red herring or whatever we don't call it. Now, as far as Resurrection F is concerned, in terms of Goku stealing that moment, to me that's classic Dragon Ball. Linus and Snoopy, I mean not Lucy and Charlie Brown yanking the ball out from, you know, you know, Charlie Brown, Lucy always tricks him into holding the ball, and then she pulls it away and he falls away. To me, that's the classic Dragon Ball, you know. So I thought that was appropriate, because of course Goku's going to come in and steal it at the end. And even though Vegeta's in God mode also, hopefully if there's a third movie, which there's a small rumor that there might be, I could see that happening as a trilogy. I hope so, because it would be great to do another. We had a great time, and Funimation is very grateful. I got to be honest, we only put in like 500 theaters in 2 weeks. And were they showing Resurrection F in the theater in the UK?
That was one in Bristol last year.
Last year? Well, we got to be honest with you. We were like, the whole plan was to do grassroots. We did $8.5 million at the box office, beat 2 Miyazaki films for the top 10 grossing dubs. This is a dub. And Funimation and me personally are very grateful that you guys went out and saw it multiple times. You really sent a message, so much so Japan was so impressed. They showed, from the last movie, Battle of Gods, they showed the Japanese world premiere of Resurrection F at the Egyptian Theater in Los Angeles with the voice of Goku from Japan, Masuko Nozawa, and they required me to sit by her. So they got, you guys, what I'm saying is you got the attention of Funimation and Japan, and showing that, you know, the dub is powerful and popular in English-speaking countries. The English-speaking version is, because there's like a German Goku and a French Goku, and it's so funny because like there's somebody strung together like the German, French, Italian Goku, and me Goku, and each one sounds just a little bit. They're all very good, and each one sounds a little bit cliche, like from their country, because like the Italian Goku is like Kamehameha, like and the German Goku is like Kamehameha, like very German, and it's like. And me listening to it going, wow, that's like so like how you would expect them to sound. Somebody cut together all our Kamehamehas. Okay, how much time we have? Okay. Yes.
I saw an interview with you a few weeks ago where you said you originally auditioned for Ginyu.
Well, here's what happened. My first audition was Dragon Ball Z. That was my first voice acting audition ever, which is weird. I was a professional French hornist in orchestras. That's why I'm a huge Dennis Brain fan, because I played French horn professionally, and my goal was, when I was a kid, was to become a world famous French horn player. That's what I want to do. So, so there was no casting call for Dragon Ball Z. I auditioned. I got the lead role, but I didn't know that it was the lead role. And of all the voices I did, I thought Goku was the lamest one I did. So when Chris called me up, he said, "Oh yeah, we just called to let you know you've been cast in the show. You're gonna be." And this is my first audition, so this is not professional acting etiquette that you do with a producer, which I know how to do now, 17 years later. You don't say this. Are you sure? Because I really nailed that Captain Ginyu part. Can I have that part instead? Which is what I said. And he's like, "No, trust me, you're going to love being Goku." He didn't tell me that it was the lead. So I go into work the first day, and there's pictures of Goku everywhere. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. They got a bunch of pictures of Goku up." And then after about 2 weeks of recording, Chris tells me in some moment, he's trying to explain something, because you realize you're the lead character on the show, right? And I'm like, "No, I didn't know that. That's awesome." You know, I was totally Gokuing out. I mean, I just totally clueless Goku'd out. It was embarrassing, but I'm very grateful for it. And we got one more probably, unless Virginia and Natalie are late. Yes.
Have you ever heard of Team 4-Star?
Yeah, I have. We were talking about this earlier. I have. I get asked that question a lot, and I think it's very funny. It's just one of those things that's like, it's a little, I'm so close to Goku, it's kind of a weird, wait, 1 minute, one more, okay. One more, so it's like, it's hard to describe. I have heard of it, it's very funny. I question the legality of it, but those guys do a great job. Next question, yeah.
Sorry, it's me.
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
Is it true that you stood up to the studio about Dragon Ball Super because you said some of the lines don't feel like something Goku would say?
Oh, no, on Super? Because I haven't recorded that yet.
Oh, right. Then that would be typical internet being false as always.
No, what I do, here's what, anytime you play first of all, it's not typical for an actor to be able to argue with a producer or a writer or a director, and it's not something that you should do. However, I've been playing the character so long that sometimes the writers who are working on multiple projects and aren't as close to the show as I am, and they're fine writers, they're translating the Japanese loose script into English, and I've done script adaptation and ADR direction myself, so I understand where pitfalls can happen. But anytime Goku does anything out of selfishness or egoicness or stuff like that, I tend to argue with them on it. Or if he's ever like, he can be angry and aggressive, but he's never. So if there's a line that doesn't, I will argue with the producer a little bit and say, and they'll usually say, we'll get one that we went, and then you can do your version too, and we'll pick later. Which usually they pick what they want. But there are a couple times where they've listened to me where I've said this is not consistent with the character and we should change the line. And I insisted on putting I am Son Goku in the Super Saiyan thing because he had never been addressed as Son Goku. And I'm familiar with the legend of the Great Journey West and Sun Wukong and the Monkey King. I was born in the year of the monkey. So if you want to get really weird about it, like really metaphysical, I'm just going to say this. I've had my whole relationship with the character being in my first audition, I was born in the year of the monkey. When I was a little boy, my grandmother, would take care of me, and I was like 2 or 3, 4 years old. I'd get out of the shower, run around the house naked, and because you do that when you're a kid. And my grandmother grabbed me, and she's teasing me and tickling me or whatever. And then she would look at my bum, and she'd go, she goes, she'd have these dimples at the base of my spine. And she goes, what's that? Is that where they ripped your tail off? She would say that to me as a little boy. Is that where they ripped your tail? And she'd call me, she'd say, come here, you little monkey boy. Is that where they ripped off your tail? And I got on Dragon Ball Z and I saw it, and I'm like, holy shit. I was completely astounded, like, at the weird metaphysical parallels in my life and the Monkey King and all this other stuff and being called Monkey Boy and all this other weird shit, and that there was no accent. I got to play this character. And it's changed my life. I mean, I'm getting here to think about it. I auditioned on a whim in 1999, and 17 years later, I'm chatting with you people. It's wonderful. So it's, thank you. It's a magic dream come true. And, I owe everything to Akira Toriyama for creating it. It's this little guy with a pen, is drawn. Next thing you know, millions of people affected. So it shows the power of art, and I'm very grateful for that.
We are really indebted to you, because I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan as well.
Oh, thank you.
Stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give Sean
Thank you so much for having me. You guys are lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, my pink table, if you want to come there, or if you want to stick around for Natalie, Virginia.
Sean, I'd be more than happy to answer your questions.
Thank you.
Sean,
give us a come here, me out. Oh yeah, come here, That's for sure. I'll do another one later.